Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be speaking about starting a ketogenic diet or a keto diet, the importance of going into ketosis, especially as we get on in life for seniors and as we get into our later years. I'm going to explain how I got into ketosis and what I'm still doing, eating a keto diet. And more importantly, I'm going to list the ingredients or the foods that we need to eliminate because any kind of a keto diet is basically an elimination diet to get the carbs down. And in a later video, I'm going to be speaking about what we should be eating to have this diet and this lifestyle to be in its ultimate form. But really, that's not the hard part because all we're going to be eating at that point is whole foods, and most of us are eating those now. So, for example, meat, animal products, fruit, nuts, berries. We probably eat that food now. So the hardest part about going into a keto diet or even doing it for a 30-day experiment is the elimination part. So I'm not a doctor, but I am a professional investigator. That's what I do for my livelihood. I'm still working at the age of 64. So with my job, I go through research and data, and I sort of separate the fact from the fiction. And even more importantly, I separate the fact from the good opinions of others, right? So I'm able to bring the hours and hours of research that I put into this diet because I wanted to research it before I started it, which was 7 years ago. I just wanted to stop and do a little bit of an ask here. So this is a very new channel, and right now I have 8 subscribers, and I'm happy with that. I don't care if I grow huge, but if you want to evolve with me when it comes to seniors' health and our lifestyle and how to live the best 25 years of our life that we have left, please subscribe or like this video that you're watching right now, and leave me a comment. That would surely help me. So back to the video. So how do we start this? We have to realize that if we can get ourselves into ketosis, and that is essentially an elimination or a great reduction of carbohydrates, it's going to affect us in so many ways, especially as we get older. So let's start with brain health, mental health. The brain does need a little bit of glucose to operate, but it can be fueled on ketones as well, just like the body can. And the body produces enough glucose for the brain anyway, so we don't need added sugars to get the brain working. Many people have found, and it's been documented, that they reduce anxiety, depression, brain fog. With the body, in my case, I was eating 5 or 6 antacids, like Tums, every 4 hours, I'd say. In the last year and a half, I have not had one single Tum. So digestion, it certainly helps with. Because when you're in keto or ketosis, it keeps your blood sugar down, right? So your glucose down. Because when you're eating carbs, your glucose will spike. And when your glucose spikes, your insulin will follow because your body doesn't want your glucose. It's not supposed to be that high. Your insulin and sugar spikes. So the insulin will get activated and it'll bring the sugar down. And when you're eating carbs and you're eating all the time, this event goes over and over until you eventually develop something called insulin resistance. And when you're insulin resistant, it does affect your metabolic health. And what I mean by that is when you're metabolically unhealthy, these are the things that lead to a lot of our ailments and diseases that we get. And again, especially as we get into our later years. I'll give you a couple of examples. Type 2 diabetes. It's been proven over and over that if you're in ketosis, because your blood sugar is not always rising and your insulin's not fighting the blood sugar to bring it down, type 2 diabetes can be safely managed. Medication is brought down, and in many cases it was actually eliminated to the point where people didn't need medication any longer because their A1C level has been brought down. Of course, always work with a doctor before reducing any type of medication, but that's one of the things that we notice that it does. If your goal is to lose weight, being on a keto diet is ideal for losing weight because you're eating whole foods, your body's fueling on ketones or fat, is what it's really called, is what being in ketosis is. You're fueling on fat. And the other kind of cool thing about being in ketosis is you're not eating all the time. So if you're eating a standard diet full of carbs, what are you, hungry every 3-4 hours? What I find and what most people find is when you're in ketosis, your eating window gets much smaller, and you almost automatically do intermittent fasting, which is so healthy, which is a whole different video. But I find that when I'm in ketosis, I might eat once or twice a day, and my snacking is definitely reduced or even non-existent some days. When I first started ketosis, I heard about this dreaded keto flu, and you've probably heard of that as well. So what it makes it sound like is that if you bring your carbs down to 20 or 25 grams or under, you're going to get sick. You're going to get this flu. Well, I'm here to tell you personally, and from all the research I've done, that's not the case. It's simply a sugar withdrawal. Sugar, processed foods are very, very addictive. So if you quit smoking, you're going to feel crappy for the first few days because you're going through withdrawal, alcohol, any type of drug or dependence. That's natural. But when you go into a diet like that, people think it's kind of weird. Oh, you're going to get sick. Well, you're not. You're just going to go through a sugar withdrawal, and a sugar withdrawal is a real thing. I can assure you that just like any other withdrawal, it will go away in a few days. And I certainly had that keto flu, which I thought was keto flu at the time until I did my research on it and found out that I was just going through sugar withdrawals because I was admittingly a sugar addict. So the other benefits of being in ketosis is you avoid all the ultra processed foods and all those crappy ingredients that some of those ingredients I still don't know the harm that they can cause us, and we've been eating them forever, right? I mean, we were raised on margarine and Captain Crunch. We didn't know any better. We know better now, and now's the time to take care of our health, and eating right is certainly the top tier of a healthy lifestyle in my opinion. So what do we need to avoid? Well, if you stop processed foods, number one. So don't eat anything that's in the middle of in the shopping store, something with 20 ingredients on the label, usually boxed or packaged. Let's just get rid of that right off the get-go because that just contains a whole lot of stuff that we don't need. Our bodies were never meant for that type of stuff. Even though as a baby boomer, I grew up on this, right? So let's stop processed foods. Sugar is the number one. It's in the processed foods, and I'm not talking just table sugar. Anything with sugar in it. And you'll have to do your research to see, obviously, things like soda, candy bars, chocolate, cake, pies. Obviously, all those things have sugar in them, but you'll be surprised what else has hidden sugar. So we want to get rid of all that. We need to stop eating grains such as bread, even supersonic whole wheat bread. We need to stop eating that. Anything with carbohydrates, so rice, pasta, any type of grains like I mentioned. And another big thing to stop eating is seed oils. Now I know we were told that margarine was better than butter. Well, that's all bullshit, isn't it? Really, really, because now we've learned, and now the research proves that we were wrong, right? Butter is one of the healthiest things we can eat. Any type of natural fat, which again, I'll get into the foods, what to eat in a later video, because I want to keep this one on, keep it simple and what we need to eliminate, because a keto diet is an elimination diet. Now, I also ate carnivore for about a year and a half. That greatly helped me. It took my carbohydrates from about 25 or 30 down to almost none. And any carbohydrates that I did eat were nice natural ones. And I did that for about a year and a half. I would say I'm about 90% carnivore at this point. I do have a little bit of non-starchy vegetables, and I will have some berries and some certain nuts in a very small amount. Now that I can have something sweet like blueberries and not be tricked into going back into the sugar. So yeah, seed oils, vegetable oils have to be avoided. If you want to have oil or cooking oil or use oil, the three that I use are extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, or coconut oil. I cook in butter or ghee. So we need to eliminate any kind of foods that have carbohydrates in them, a high level of carbohydrates. We want to get those carbs down to about 25 or under. And if we can do that for about 30 days, we will probably go into ketosis. And there's ways to measure. There's something very inexpensive urine test strips, and you can use those and you can kind of test your progress going into ketosis. So that's kind of how you get started. Or if you're a beginner like this, try a 30-day, 60-day, ideally 90-day challenge. Try this diet and see how you feel. I can almost tell you for sure that you will feel better if you eaten the correct things, but more importantly, eliminating the foods that I had just mentioned. So as you can see, starting the keto diet is really, it's much simpler than a lot of people make it out to be. I can tell you from the research that I've done, the doctors that I've researched, and my own experience, I can tell you that being in a keto diet is very, very safe. So why don't we give it a try for 30, 60, 90 days if you haven't, and just, nothing to lose, see how you feel. That's what I did. Mine was just a trial basis. I told my wife, okay, I will stop eating pasta and bread for 60 days, but then I'm probably going to go right back on it, but I'll do that. Well, after 60 days, there's not a chance in hell I wanted to go back on it because I felt so much better. And when I lost 30 pounds, when my blood pressure went from 150 to 150 over 85 or 90, went back. Right now, consistently, I can take my blood pressure right now. It'll be 115 over 75. And it's not that I'm a superstar athlete or anything like that. It's just the lifestyle choices I've made being a senior. This is certainly the top one. And keto and the food you eat on keto, it's not magic food. It's just foods we were meant to eat. So eliminating what we weren't meant to eat or what we didn't evolve eating, that's again the I would say it's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. Like giving up anything, there is going to be some challenges that is in it, but I'm here to tell you it's worth it by the time you get through it. So if you have any comments, if you started keto or if you want to start keto and you still have some concerns, leave me a comment. I can direct you to the resources that I was referring to, or I can explain, or I can talk about my personal experience. If you like the video, this is a new channel and I'm really learning along the way, and I'm speaking about senior health and lifestyle and how to live better years as we get older, and I'm doing it for myself, and I would really like to help others. So if you like this, please subscribe, grow with me in my channel. Like the video, leave me a comment like I mentioned, and I will be doing a video on what I do eat and the foods that we should be eating on a keto diet. I'll be doing that soon, so please watch for that. Otherwise, have a great day.